Manga spoilers, by the way. Around the 45-minute mark, aka the halftime break of this extreme match between the Blue Lock 11 and the Japan U20 team, we see Team Blue Lock dominating the first half with the score being 2-1. As we transition to Buratsuta Hiritoshi, the president of the Japan Football Association, pressing the coach of the U20 team due to the fact that the U20 team is losing in the first half. He gets desperate, saying that it doesn't matter what it takes as long as the U20 team crushes Blue Lock and wins. As we cut to the U20's locker room, it's obvious to see that they're all down in the dumps, but they certainly haven't lost hope yet, as they know that they still have a slight chance of winning. As the genius Sai walks in on this gloomy room, we see the members of the U20 try to communicate with Sai, asking him what they should do next, but to their surprise, he tells everyone to just do whatever the hell they want as he states that he's leaving, exposing that he was only taking up the bet that he had with Aku chapters before this match even started, testing if the genius could bring something out of them. But as Sai expected, the players of the U20 were just utterly useless to him. As the only hope for the U20 team starts to depart, we see Aku asking Sai to just wait a moment, apologizing to everyone for making such a selfish bet. Aku then explains that he only wanted to test the team's current strength and standings, but after witnessing Team Blue Lock firsthand for only 45 minutes, he sees the difference in strength, admitting that him, as well as everybody else on the U20 team, except for Sai of course, are weak. And at the rate that this match is going, the U20 will end up being replaced by Team Blue Lock and disappear within due time. As the mood in the locker room worsens with Sai saying that the U20 team have no chance in defeating Team Blue Lock, Aku then reminds him that they still have one last card up their sleeve, that being number 11, the demon, Shidou Ryusei. But the coach of the U20 team states that if they sub in this demon, it means that they've acknowledged Jinpachi Ego's philosophy. But Hiritoshi doesn't care as long as they win, saying that the top priority of this match is to make a show out. With this result, Sai decides to jump back into the match, saying that him and Shidou will become the game's headliners. As we jump to chapter 126 with the second half about to commence, Rin and Isagi notice that the U20 have decided to bring out the demon Shidou as their trump card. Shidou then realizes the two on the field and starts to taunt Rin, saying that after this match, it's gonna be clear who's number one. But Rin ends up matching that same energy, saying that he needed someone to crush to jazz up his game, and Shidou just so happened to be that someone. As the commentators talk about Shidou and how he's a complete mystery to everybody in the stadium, we see Ego and Henri discussing how they'll respond to the U20's new formation. Ego says that there's no need to change their formation as Team Blue Lock were already prepared for the possibility of facing Shidou, and that Team Blue Lock won't go down so easily. He then adds on, saying that Shidou, the person that even Blue Lock couldn't contain, now's the time where they'll be able to see just why he was picked by the genius Itoshi Sai, saying that this match is finally getting started. We then cut to Isagi saying that now that Shidou has been subbed into the match, the state of the field is going to change and whoever adapts to it first will become the hero of this match, with Isagi saying that the match will be his. The second half of Blue Lock 11 versus the Japan U20 team begins. As we start the match with Shidou passing the ball to Sai, we see Nico intensely observing Shidou's movements, pointing out that his weapon is his overwhelming scoring ability in the goal zone. Nico then states that he can't let him out of his sight, adding on to that saying that he'll hunt down this demon at the last lines of defense. As Shidou is on the move, we see him moving very randomly upfield. As everyone's confused at this play of his, Nico questions it, saying that Shidou is ignoring both ally and foe alike on the field, adding on to that saying that this match isn't an 11 versus 11, and instead to Shidou, it's him versus everybody else on the field. As the genius Itoshi Sai links up with Shidou's randomized movements, he ends up passing it through such a narrow route that not even Nico could see. As Shidou is in possession of the ball, we see Chigiri right on his tail. But that's when the U20's forward Sendo Shuto appears behind Shidou asking for the ball. As Shidou passes the ball, Chigiri noticed the change in Sendo, saying that he's acting like Shidou's decoy to support him, copying what Isagi and Rin do on Team Blue Lock, a combo that they certainly weren't expecting in the slightest. As Sendo side passes the ball, Isagi gets confused on why he didn't send it to Shidou, realizing that the one Sendo was passing to was Itoshi Sai himself. As Sai gets the ball, in the same instantaneous motion, he kicks the ball, and as it looks like he's going to shoot the ball by reflex, he then crosses the ball to Shidou with an outspin, a perfect pass indeed. Isagi then admits that with Shidou's presence on the field, the U20 team's offense has improved greatly. But before all hope seemed lost, as Shidou was about to kick the ball, he then gets blocked by the guardian Nico. As Nico receives a yellow card for his play, the commentators talk about the crazy play that Shidou and Sai pulled, amazed that Shidou was able to link up with the genius like that. As Shidou shit talks Nico for the little stunt he pulled earlier, Nico matches the same energy, saying that he mistook Shidou for a bug, clearly trying to provoke him. As Shidou falls for it and is about to fight him, Sai stops him, saying that he shouldn't throw away his dream just by getting a red card in this match. As Gagamaru and Isagi go up to Nico, giving him some reassurance, Nico says that even though he could see their play clearly, he couldn't stop it. By taking in Itoshi Sai's kicking motion and Shidou's randomized movements, Nico was able to predict the most dangerous spot accurately. But what went wrong was Sendo being an annoying distraction. Due to Sendo following Shidou, Nico couldn't help but keep an eye on him, causing some momentary hesitation. With Isagi shocked by how much Nico really saw from that play, Nico's foot starts to hurt. Isagi asks if his foot's okay, but Nico says that he can still play. And even though he wasn't chosen to play as a striker in this match, using his eyes he was able to realize how fun it was to crush all the forwards by playing defense. Nico then thanks Isagi, saying that because of him he's not afraid of changing anymore. As we move on to the free kick from the Japan team, we see Shidou and Sai discussing about who's going to kick the ball. But as Shidou says he's gonna kick it, Itoshi Sai asks him if that's the best option Shidou could think of, saying that in this very moment Shidou shouldn't stop thinking outside the box, and that he should start picturing his very best goal. As Shidou likes the way Sai's thinking, he pictures his very best goal, and says that it's super advanced, wondering if the great genius will ever be able to keep up. As Shidou and Sai have this weird and questionable scene right here, we see Shidou is about to kick the ball, and as Team Blue Lock prepares for the shot, Shidou takes a sharp left and starts bolting to the net, with everyone realizing that the person who was going to kick the ball was Itoshi Sai. But before he kicks the ball, Chigiri reads his play, saying that it's going to be a pass to Shidou, and as Shidou has his eyes on Team Blue Lock's weak points in defense, Chigiri attempts to stop this little demon in his tracks. Sai kicks the ball, and as Chigiri predicted, it was going to be a pass. Chigiri then decides that if he dives into the ball, he'll just barely be able to intercept the pass, and considering Shidou isn't even looking at the ball, he decides to make that idea a reality. And as he tries to headbutt into the ball, it ends up being just a few centimeters in front of him, questioning if they really aimed for this spot. But right at that moment, the demon appeared, telling his cells to fly. And as Shidou gets the ball, he then shoots it with his new move, Dragon Drive, scoring the point needed to tie the match. And with that, the chemical reaction between the genius and the demon is in full motion. As the crowd goes crazy over that amazing goal by this demon, Shidou's goal of showing the world who he is progressing slowly but surely. As Shidou strikes a cool pose, followed by some questionable words, Itoshi Sai tells him that he shouldn't get all excited yet as they only tied the game. Isagi then confirms that without a doubt what just happened was a chemical reaction between Shidou and Sai. Isagi then pretty much explains the play in a little more detail. We see that Itoshi Sai actually sensed what Chigiri was trying to do and purposely passed it to the point where Chigiri would only just barely be unable to reach it, and where Shidou wanted to score from. With all these conditions in the mix, in that split second, Sai was able to make his final judgment as if he was threading a needle. Isagi comes to the realization that what Sai did was what he's been striving for, a play by reflex. And with that knowledge, Isagi thinks that what Shidou did had to be a play by reflex as well, saying that Shidou wouldn't have been able to do anything unless his brain and body were moving by reflex. Shidou and Sai's superhuman plays came together as one in order to score that goal, creating a play entirely off of reflex. If Team Blue Lock doesn't find a way to shut down this match made in heaven soon, then they can kiss their dreams goodbye. As we jump to chapter 130, we see Shidou talking to Sai, saying that playing football with him is pretty damn fun, describing the feeling as if electricity is pulsing through his brain, which technically there is, but with Sai confused, asking what he means by that, Shidou replies with that he doesn't really have a clue either. But it's the first time he's felt something like this, the first time his freedom was understood by someone else, with Shidou saying that he feels a big bang coming. And as Itoshi Sai acknowledges his feelings, he then says that Shidou still needs to score another goal. As the ball gets thrown in, we enter the mind of Shidou, with him saying that the world has no idea who he is yet. Adding on to that, saying that it's pathetic how others think that things like passing and tactics will lead the team to victory. Shidou claims that football isn't a sport, but a biological phenomenon, Shidou then says that his weapon is extreme spatial awareness, and to steal a goal and to live on the field, he uses all of his being for that sake of penalty area perfection, and as long as he's in the penalty area, even with his back turned against the net, he could still find it. As he tells the genius to pass the ball right here, he then states that all his cells in his body exist to score goals. And as Shidou gets the ball, he's then met with the copycat Reo body blocking him, saying that he won't let him score. As Shidou realizes that Reo's copying Kazuma's body blocking technique, he asks Reo if he's even skilled at all, suggesting that he should just do impressions for a living. But Reo decides to not let this slide, returning the same energy, saying that if Shidou's losing to a copycat such as himself, then maybe he isn't a demon, but just a little brat. And as this method of provoking actually works in Reo's favor, Shidou ends up mindlessly shooting the ball, but it ends up hitting the crossbar. And as Gagamaru easily gets the ball, he asks Reo to print him another copy for him. As everyone's pushing forward, we get this sort of inner monologue scene again with Shidou, talking about how the act of passing one's genes have been programmed into all living beings. Those who create things, those who want to become something, and of course, those who reproduce and have children are essentially living proof that they existed. And for Shidou, that thing just so happens to be football. Essentially to him, a goal is like fertilization, the shot is like the seed, and the net is like the egg. And the pleasure from that birth is what he refers to as explosions. As Hitoshi Sai intercepts the cross, in that same moment he makes a super long pass, and as the players of Blue Lock are in confusion, failing to react to this crazy pass of his, there was one person who did. Or I guess I should say one person who reacted on reflex, that person being Shidou. And as Isagi questions whether or not Shidou was hoping for this end goal, we see Shidou breaking free from Reo, claiming that the seat is his now that it's a 1v1 between him and our favorite top knot keeper, Gagamaru. But to his surprise, Gagamaru was able to react, headbutting the ball, leaving the penalty area in the process. But in that same moment, we see Shidou in some sort of state, questioning the sensation he's feeling, saying that even though the net is still pretty far, he can feel the goal with his back, saying that all of his cells are telling him to score a super goal. And as the genius Sai and Honoree is shocked, we see Ego saying that Shidou has gone into the flow. And as Shidou hits a bicycle kick with his Big Bang drive, he then tells all the people who don't know him yet to take his goal, also known as his genes, right into the womb, leaving the crowd in awe at the birth of the Demon Lord. Getting the U20 team's second goal, making the score 3-2 them, putting them ahead of Team Blue Lock, of course. As Shidou was the first one in this match to enter the flow state, Team Blue Lock's victory seems almost out of reach. And as Ego gives up, saying that he doesn't even have a plan to counter this crazed duo, it's clear that Isagi and the others obviously won't go down without a fight. Isagi asks Ego, referring to him as Shitty Four Eyes, to make them win with the ego he taught them. But with Ego completely out of plans, he decides to take a gamble, one where he doesn't even know the outcome of, deciding that to fight a monster like Shidou, they need to bring out a monster of their own, using their last substitution on the great king himself, Baro Shuei. Hey guys, DarkheroJosh here, and if you guys want to see more Blue Lock content like this on the channel, then please leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and comment down below what other moment in Blue Lock should I go over next. And without further ado, I hope you guys have a great day, and see ya.